Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, inside the business, buzz, and brilliance of Black entrepreneurs. Here is your host, Dr. Frances Richards.
What happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience episode number 119. Thank you for joining us as we elevate the Black Entrepreneur Experience by interviewing CEOs, thought leaders, innovative thinkers, and Black entrepreneurs across the globe. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards, and today I am so humbly honored to have with us Tamekia Swint. She is the founder and executive director of Stylists for Kidz, and they provide children and families in the transracial, adoptive, and foster care community with education, training, and professional services with a little TLC. She makes caring for African American hair a fun, not a stressful experience. Welcome, Tamekia.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, it is my pleasure. Tell us a little bit about you and your business. I've given such a brief bio, but you have such an extensive portfolio. Why don't you share with our audience?
Yes, I am a mother, a wife, and an entrepreneur, and passionate about helping kids with hair care. And the families that we serve, it's just a blessing to be able to pour into them, enable and empower them. And so it's just an awesome privilege to actually live my dream. And that is to live a life of purpose and to live on purpose, intentionally serving and helping someone else. And that is really what my life is about giving and serving and helping others. And that is what I'm passionate about, and making a difference in the lives of our youth.
Tamekia, you know what's amazing? We had a conversation prior to us jumping on this podcast, and you talked about that your business is a nonprofit hair salon. And I don't know if that's a new concept to many, but talk to us about that idea.
Yes. And so Stylists for Kidz was birthed out of the heart of really just wanting to bless children who really didn't have access to resources, or in this case, community of people who were really just struggling with hair care. And so at the heart of our mission is we really want to make a difference. We don't want to be just a regular salon that you come to get services, but this is about empowering, educating, and enabling the families that we serve. So it's not your typical hair salon that you will walk into. People might think, we're just doing kids' hair, but it's really more than that. We are educating and providing a service at the same time, but really in a unique environment and an intimate way where families can feel safe to ask questions, and where children can feel safe and not judged by the appearance of their hair. And many of the children that we work with, some of them have hair that is missing, or hair that has been poorly managed, and hair that really just needs a whole lot of TLC. And so that is what we're doing. And that is why there's a nonprofit piece that's wrapped around our mission, is because we're not just about doing the next head. Most salons are driven by profit. It's about the number of services that you can do in order to make the maximum amount of dollar. And we are not wrapped around that purpose. We are about intentionally serving the families. So the typical service could take a little longer because there's an education piece that's taking place at the same time. There's more care that's needed for the hair, especially for our children who we serve in the foster care community, or in the group home community who also come into the salon, or who we go to do services. These are not your typical services. So that is why there's a nonprofit piece that's wrapped around our mission.
Tamekia, tell us that story about how did you intercept your passion with your purpose?
Well, hair just really started out as something that I've always loved to do. I have been doing hair since I was a very young child, but it was never something that I really saw myself doing as a career. And that's not to look down on the hair industry. It's just that I felt like I wanted to do something else. And so hair was kind of a way for me to earn income while I was pursuing a degree. And really what happened is that I ended up going into the workforce, and my heart was still really tied to hair. I mean, like, I would be at work and I would literally be creating hairstyles in my head. And I'm like, okay, this just doesn't make sense. Like, I'm at work and I'm thinking about hair. That's really how I discovered that hair was more so my purpose versus just working a job. And I just decided, you know what? You only live once. I need to pursue my dream. And that dream is, to do hair and to make a difference.
Talk about the stylists that you vet to work for the nonprofit and to work in the salon. You had mentioned it's not your just everyday salon. So how are you vetting those stylists to work with the young people?
You know what? I have the most amazing group of women. And I really feel that each and every one of them have been called to do this. And it's not just for them. Also, they're serving. And that is what I look for when I'm talking to stylists and when I'm vetting them is I'm looking for a person who has a heart of service, because a person who understands service understands that it's not going to be just about, making the dollar at the end of the day. They understand that it's about giving back, especially to our youth, the people who are going to be our future. When I'm sitting down with stylists, I always explain to them that, if you're looking for a position where it's driven by money, then this is not what we're doing here, because this is at the heart of it. It's about serving. And so we really, truly want to serve the families and the children that we serve. And it's going to take time. And so when I set it up that way, it gives them an opportunity to make a decision whether or not they want to be tied to the mission, because it's about meeting the mission and the vision of the organization and not about making money at the end of the day. And so we need people who really feel tied to the mission. And so I really feel that I have those women. They're women who are passionate about youth and pouring into them. And really the work is rewarding in itself, and that you really feel like at the end of the day that you made the difference in somebody else's life. And not that, stylists aren't making a difference by doing beautiful hairstyles, because we are. But really you're touching the heart of someone in that you really took the time versus, just trying to hurry up and get through and get on to the next person.
Tamekia, what are you most grateful for now in your life?
I am most grateful for my family. It's very hard to live your dream if you don't have the right support behind you. And so my family, unwillingly at first, but over the years has grown to be very supportive of what I do. And I feel like that's very, very important, because at the end of the day, you need your support system. And so I am most grateful for having a very good support system from my family and my friends to believe in what I'm doing.
And you mentioned that you had gone into the workforce prior to opening up Styles for Kidz. What
Yes.
did you do prior to that?
Yes, I've always had an entrepreneurial heart. My very first job out of college, I was actually a parole agent. So I was in law enforcement for a period, and then I left that to go back to school to get my master's degree in business full time, and decided to go into the insurance industry and sales. And considering pursuing that actually as a business is what I was looking at when I decided to not do that anymore and pursue Styles for Kidz.
What problem exists in the world today that you would like to solve?
I would like to solve the fact that there are children that go to sleep at night not really having the support that they need. And I really feel closely tied to the foster community. I mean, the children that we serve in the group homes, if I could just give them hope that they will have all that they need to be successful in the world, that is a problem that I wish that I could solve. And I feel like hair is one piece of that, because having a good self-esteem and feeling good about yourself and how you look is important. But I wish that on a greater level, I could solve so many of the larger problems with the foster care system and how it works in every state.
One of the big challenges for individuals wanting to start a business is about financing their business capital. Talk to us about that, Tamekia. How did you finance your business?
Well, I am grateful for many of the nonprofit programs that exist to help entrepreneurs start businesses, and also even some of the for-profit programs. And I looked at both. When I was looking to start Stylists for Kidz, I was really blessed that I had an opportunity to participate in a community savings program. And what they did is they enabled me to save a certain percentage of money towards starting the business. And the agreement was that if I saved a certain amount, that they would match it by giving me a grant in order to start the business. And so I am very, very grateful to Bethel for helping me through the community savings program to get started with Stylists for Kidz. But there are other resources out there. I know that the city of Chicago has a lot of resources in regards to people who want to start a business that they have that are good resources. So it really just takes looking. If you don't have a good financial source or you don't have the credit to start a business, I know many churches, there's nonprofit programs. So there's places that you can look that will enable you to get the financing that you need to start your business. But it's a lot of looking and searching and talking to business owners in your area who might be doing something similar to what you're doing to get started. But there are resources out there. If you don't have the credit, just don't give up. Keep looking.
That's excellent advice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for your salon, do you take walk-ins, or can anyone come, or just individuals from foster care and transracial families?
Yes, we don't turn away anyone who wants to support our mission. So anyone that comes into the salon who would like to receive services would be able to make an appointment and receive those services. We believe that we're at a very good place in the aspect that we are inviting other African American families to come alongside of us and support our mission. These families need support. And so we really want to be a place where we can kind of bridge the gap, where African American families can form friendships and relationships with other transracial adoptive parents and families. And so we feel like the salon is just one place to do that, where we are intentionally placing them in the same environment where they can get to know one another, where these moms can ask questions of other African American moms and dads and develop genuine friendships and relationships. So it's not just about, having whoever come in, but it's about inviting them to participate in our mission.
We can learn, Tamekia, from successful entrepreneurs or brands. Can you tell us a brand or a business that is dominating and that you admire, and why?
A brand that is dominating and why? At this point, I would say McDonald's. I admire Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, and how McDonald's started as a franchise organization. I mean, not as a franchise, but he brought in the idea of franchising the the business and how McDonald's has thrived on real estate as being a main cornerstone of their business, and how over the years, I mean, everywhere you go, you see McDonald's. And it is a brand that is recognized, and it is a brand that doesn't have a problem getting customers. And so I admire McDonald's. I admire the system that is in place. And I admire the opportunity that they've made for someone to come in and have a real thriving business within a few years. So I would say McDonald's Corporation, I mean, I admire them greatly.
Yes, they are pretty amazing because
Yes.
one of the things that they pride themselves on is no matter, wherever you go in Tokyo or Texas, the burger is going to be the same. And,
It's the same product.
right.
I
So
love
that's
it.
right. And just the branding, when we think about Amazon and Apple and Tesla and, even Kim Kardashian, they are branding and marketing machines. And
Yes.
so we give, our hats off to McDonald's because they know that children, they're our future. And so they
Yes.
cater to the children. And I don't care how little or how old, kids go through that stage where they want to go to McDonald's. And so
Exactly. My son loves it. I mean,
yeah.
play place, it's like heaven, for the
Yes.
kids. So, I mean, they got their message, they got their marketing, they got their product, they got everything down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
like that example that you gave because, and that's one of the things that we do here at Black Entrepreneur Experience. It's about elevating Black entrepreneurs. And we've just launched in 2019 where we interview thought leaders, innovative thinkers, and CEOs and other entrepreneurs that are not necessarily they're from other cultures and nationalities. One episode a month is what can we learn from them? Because we can learn from anyone. And so we want to elevate because our mission is to eradicate the wealth gap in our country. And
Absolutely.
how we're going to do that is through entrepreneurship. So thanks for that amazing example. Tamekia, what is one lesson you wish you knew before starting your business?
One lesson that I wish that I would knew, and I would give to every entrepreneur that is out there, is that you want to make sure you have some savings for your personal lifestyle that you would like to live. I really stepped out on faith to start this, but I think that I didn't prepare enough on the back end of that financially. So you want to make sure that you have some savings in place so that you're financially stable. Now, I thank God because He has made sure that every single bill that I have had has been paid.
That's a blessing.
So I am grateful for that, but it would have been good in the beginning to have more of a cushion. It's very, very important that you have that because there have been times when I feel like creativity had been cut off because there were things that I was worrying about that I should not have been worrying about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that is very pronounced in our community. When you talk about it, all wraps into that access to capital. And
Yes.
one of the things is your network, the people that you're networking with determines your net worth.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's what we have a challenge is developing our network, our networking, because it's that social capital that is going to help you get to that next level. And I think that we have to do more of that. We have to teach our children about how to really network, how to really do that elevator speech about who they are and what they want to be at a very young age. Because others that are coming to the table, they are coming to the table many grades ahead of us.
Absolutely. And having the financial education, in place to understand, your credit needs to be good. You need to have, 6 to 12 months savings in the bank. Like those are like practical things that we need to be doing anyway. But most importantly, if you're starting a business.
And you said something really profound, and that's one of the things that really resonates so in my spirit, and is because there are so many gaps in our community, right?
Yes.
And so the things that you're talking about and this discussion that we're having, those are conversations that if they're not having them at their table, they have more access to have them more often than we do.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is that not only that, it's if they start out at a job, and if we're making, it's a gap there because they're going to always pay them more. So it's always you're at a deficit. So it's like you're saying, when you're talking about starting that hustle, or you can start a side hustle. But we're living in some really amazing times now. Because back in the day, you had to be, it was like going to the bank and get a loan. But today, you don't have to do that, right? There are so many other creative ways that you can bring in revenue. And I was telling someone that there's a couple of communities that I'm involved in on Facebook, and with the internet, I say that it is definitely leveling the playing field. Even though there's some gaps in terms of the digital divide. But if you have that drive and determination, you can make it happen.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I was saying is I'm connecting with people that are making $100,000 a day.
Amen.
And so
I love that.
Yeah. And there was a young lady in a community. She did a $820,000 and happened to be African American. And this community it's diverse, but it's not predominantly African American at all. And she had an $820,000 month.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Right. And I agree with you. That happens to me every day. Right.
Yes.
So, we have what we say. So, I'm just saying that we're living in times when you think about the possibilities are endless.
Yes.
And when you think about, like, we're talking about the Kardashians, but you think about the youngest, here she is, a billionaire at 21 years old.
Absolutely.
So nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible. Yes.
Tameka, what is a technology tool or a technology platform that is a must-have for you in managing your business?
Oh, I love my iPhone. Siri is like, we were just having this conversation about Siri. I love Siri. She's like the best assistant. Although she does mispronounce names sometimes, but it's okay.
She'll try to get it right.
That's it. But yes, I have for years been an Android user, and I've recently switched within the last year, and it's like a must-have for me now.
Yeah.
So I love my iPhone.
and I'll have to tell you a similar story. I had, I want to say about 6 years ago, I had won an iPad, right? And then I want to say 2-3 years after that, I won a little, what is the little, like, iPod?
iPod, yes.
Right? I won that, and it's still in the box.
And then, I like my iPod.
And then my son, I was always not an Android, but I was always the type of person that I had Windows. And my son kept telling me, you need to jump over to Apple. And so now everything is Apple. And it's expensive in the, up front. But after a while, it pays for itself because you don't have to purchase all of that malware and all of that stuff each and every year. And it's a well-oiled machine.
It is. I love it.
Okay, so thank you for that. What is your biggest accomplishment so far in your business?
The biggest accomplishment is seeing the impact that the services and the education has had on the lives of the families and ultimately the children, because it's been 8 years now. And one of our first clients, he's like in college now, and he's doing some public speaking, and his hair looks amazing.
Wow.
But just seeing the impact that we've had and the gratefulness of the kids, and the fact that even he wants to come back and make a difference now in Styles for Kids. I think that is the biggest accomplishment, because we're enabling the kids that we serve to pay it forward.
And I think you're sitting on a gold mine and you know it.
Yes. Absolutely.
So speaking of family, you talked a great deal about your family. How do you include your personal life, your family life with your business life?
The two are so intimately, they're so intertwined in the aspect that my husband in particularly was a part of this vision from the very beginning. As a matter of fact, I think we met shortly after I had decided to step out in faith and do this. And so my family is so intimately involved, even with serving the families that we work with. They know them. We have relationships with all of them. And so for me, the two are very closely related. And part of that is that, my family has to be committed to the mission as well in order to really see the mission happen. Because if they aren't committed because they are my first responsibility, then obviously the mission can't move forward. So everybody is in agreement with what's going on and who we're serving, how we're serving them, and their opinions matter most to me in regards to what's taking place.
Is your husband working in the business?
He is indirectly. Yes, he is serving as a board member. And so he is and has been from the very beginning committed to helping and serving the families. He also is responsible for all of the marketing. So he is very closely related to helping with the mission. Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. And I've heard so many stories about that, just the impact that it makes when the family can cohesively be included in the business.
Yes.
And so that's really beautiful how you were able to blend that where it's a perfect match.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
What have you not done in life that you dream about often?
Traveling the world, seeing a different side of the world. I get very, very caught up into the day-to-day operations and having impact here that I don't get to really enjoy seeing different sides of the world. Although, I started this vision on a mission trip, but I haven't done many more mission trips since then. And so if I would have the opportunity to do that, it would be amazing.
Tamekia, if someone wrote a book about you today, what would they learn about you that we don't know?
That I am very passionate about personal growth. I think that sometimes we can get very complacent about where we are in life and not be intentional about improving ourselves. And so through the process of just living life and friendships that I've had, experiences that I've had, I've learned that a journey of personal growth is very, very important. I'm very, very intentional about making sure that I am consistently on that journey and looking for ways to improve and to grow as a person, individually, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, in every aspect of my life. As a parent, as a wife, as a business owner, just very intentional about learning how I can be better. And so that is the one thing that I think that you would see about me that you wouldn't know on the surface, just looking at me.
Talk to a younger you. What advice would you give to a younger you?
Kick out fear at every opportunity that you can. Because fear is only what we see it to be, and many times it's not real. And so at every opportunity that it comes up, kick it out.
You are a nonprofit. Is there a social cause that is connected with your company besides your mission?
Not in any specific way right now, other than working with some of the adoption and foster agencies that we work with, learning how we can be a part of moving things forward for children in ways that don't necessarily relate to hair would be one way.
Talk about your most memorable moment in life or business.
The most memorable moment. There are times in our life when we can't really see what the future impact of something is going to have on our lives. And I think at this point, if I look back over the years, that first family that I helped, I don't really think at that moment I really had an idea of how great the impact of that relationship was going to have on the unfolding of everything that has happened since then. And so, sometimes we're just going through the day to day. We're not really present. And so as I look back over that, I don't think I was really as present in that moment, and how that moment was going to impact my future and the future of some of the kids that we have served and the impact that we've had on their lives. I think of one little young lady in the group home that we served, and she had been in a foster home for some time and had the opportunity to be to be adopted by a family. And I think of where her hair started from and where it was when she got the opportunity to go be with her family. And just to witness the level of her confidence, just even in going to the visits and developing an attachment with that family. All of those little things that we don't really see, along the way, and the impact that it's had. Oh my goodness, it's just, sometimes it's overwhelming.
And one of the things, Tamekia, that you said that was really profound is you talked about not being present in that moment, let's say 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think that you were present because your vision took you there.
Yes.
But I think that you really understand with, like you talked about your growth and development, the impact that you're really making on lives, families, individuals, their whole career. You are impacting futures, right?
Yes,
and not
absolutely.
Even knowing what you're doing at that moment. Yes. And sometimes we can do things in our lives and we can think that we're making an impact. Yes. And then sometimes we do things in our lives and we just think we're just doing things in our lives and make a big impact. And so what I'm hearing you say, you have made some amazing impacts in lives, and you may or may not live to hear all the accolades, but you definitely know that what you're doing is making a difference.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Let's pivot. Talk about the worst moment in business and what was your takeaway?
The worst moment in business. It's hard to say this because it's like, meeting a child and not knowing exactly what to do with the hair. I think that's probably been the hardest thing for all of us as stylists because, there's been times when, hair has been missing and I'm sorry, it's really hard. And a child is so broken behind the way that the hair looks. And just hoping that you can come up with something that would make them feel good. And it has been a few situations where, we're like, we don't know what to do, But the takeaway would be that as long as we put our heads together, somehow it always comes together and it looks great. And so the part I would say is just don't give up hope. Wherever there's hope and wherever there's a willingness to serve, that whatever it is that you're doing will come together. So for us, that's been the greatest challenge.
And thanks for sharing that story, Tamekia, and the fact that it was so emotional for you to share. Because, I don't want to say this like it's just hair, but hair is so amazing in so many ways where you think about life and you think about individuals that have gone through cancer or they have alopecia or whatever has happened. And even though they've made that decision that they've had to let go of their hair for whatever reason, they are not saying it's just hair. They're trying to get to that point to say it's just hair. And I have to tell you a story when you mentioned about not knowing what to do with your hair. So my hair has been natural for 10 years and it's gray. And I have a video out there on like a really large salt and pepper afro. And people will ask me like, how do you get your hair like that or whatever? And so my mom, who's 91, and as we age, we lose hair and she still has her hair down her back. But I went and got my hair done one time, and I was telling this lady, and I'm very meticulous like most of us are about our hair. And I said to this young lady, I go, if you cannot do natural hair, just don't do it. And she was so adamant because her mom was natural and she wanted to say, Mom, I want to show you that I can do hair. And she was working at a beauty salon. I went to a beauty salon and I'm telling her my hair is extremely thick and I'm just trying to give her pictures and whatever. She was so determined. I left out of there and I literally had to put my hair in a ponytail. She tried to, she washed it and she was doing a natural style, not a wash and press, but she was blow drying my hair. And I was telling her it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. No. And I ended up paying. And the only reason I paid was because it was a Black-owned establishment and I knew the owners. But I should not have paid a dime. And I had to go home and wash my hair and do it. So, I can imagine when someone's there in that moment and you're just like, wow, what do I do? And she didn't give up. And a child.
Yeah.
Right. Because we as adults, we're supposed to be able to be flexible and get back, you know what I mean? Know how to, get back to where that point is where we could just say it's just hair, wash it, move on. But a kid, you just don't know how that can just speak volumes to their lives.
Absolutely.
What value bomb can you drop today to elevate Black entrepreneurs?
Don't give up. Because I heard this recently by Warren Woodward. He said, you're not a failure because you haven't accomplished what you set out to do. You're only a failure if you quit.
Oh, that's profound.
Man, that is so profound. And actually, in so many ways that has changed my perspective even about my business, and the aspect that as long as I don't quit, I'm not a failure.
Right.
And so at the point where you feel like you can't go on anymore and you want to give up, don't. Look for another way. And many times, success for us is right around the corner. But if you give up, then you'll never know success.
Yes.
And success looks different, right? For many, I'm sorry, I know this is one of the questions, but it looks different for many different people. What is your definition of success? But you'll never know, if you don't, if you give up,
Right.
Because maybe whatever that success is for you could be redefined into something else. But if you don't give it a shot, you will never know. And so I just encourage you, don't give up, don't quit. Just look for another way. The resources are there. Keep looking for them. The people are there. Keep looking for the right people. Redefine what it is that you're doing. Maybe you're just, off a bit. So there's always a way. We just have to keep looking for it. It's one thing that I admire about Apple founder is that he never gave up. It was always a way. And that's why they have the product that they have, is because he pressed them. We're going to find a way. Steve Jobs, I'm sorry. There's always a way. And so the mind will make a way as long as you don't give up and you keep looking for a way. That's the way that our brain works. Yeah.
Right. Tamekia, if you conducted this interview, what is the one question that you would have asked yourself? And I want you to ask the question and answer it.
What is the one question I would have asked myself in this interview?
Right.
Who do you look up to and why? Okay, and I'll answer that. I look up to Black women. We are so amazing in so many different ways. And we have a strength that is just amazing. I think of my mom. I think of my stepmom. I think of all the things that they have lived through in their lifetime. The civil rights movement, not really knowing what to do with their hair, having to cook, clean, take care of a family, go to work. All of the different things that Black women have been through, and we are still standing, and we are still strong, and we are still beautiful, and we are still unique in so many different ways. And I just admire all of the strong Black women in my life, all the stylists that work for us, all the strong Black women in my family who have been through so many different things: cancer, losing family members, losing jobs, being mistreated in the work environment because of the color of their skin and because of not having all the advantages that some have. I just admire Black women. We are amazing, an amazing group. And I admire you. I admire you for starting this podcast. I think it's amazing what you're doing. Keep doing it and keep letting your light shine. And helping other Black entrepreneurs. I think it's amazing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for that. We've come to the part of our podcast that's called a Fun Facts Lightning Round, and I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I'd like you to give us very quick answers. If there's something you desire not to answer, feel free to say pass. Are you ready for the Fun Facts Lightning Round?
Yes.
Tamekia, the last movie you saw?
Captain Marvel. I am a Marvel fan. Hands down.
You relax doing what?
Reading.
Your favorite singer or rapper?
Hands down, Toby Mac.
Your favorite dance song?
I love Tina Turner, everything. I love to dance to her.
What food you eat every week no matter what?
Avocado.
And your favorite month?
May. It's my birthday month, of course.
Thank you for that. Tamekia, before we let you go, why don't you share with our audience what is the best way for our audience to connect with you and support you and your business? So give us your handles, give us the contact information if others is in your area and would like to come to the salon.
Yes. So we are at www.styles, STYLES, the number 4, KIDZ.org. Please like us on Facebook, Instagram, and you can follow us on Twitter. We are having our grand opening, which is coming up May 18th in Chicago. It will be from 12 to 2. We invite everybody to come out. We're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony. We're going to have product giveaways. We're going to have hair demos. We're going to have a new performance of a new song that's in production with us right now called Every Kid is Beautiful. We're going to have somebody performing that live. It's going to be a fantastic event, and you don't want to miss it. We are just excited about helping kids. And if you are in a position to give and to donate and to support our mission so we can help more kids, I just recently had another group home reach out to us that needs services desperately. And so we don't want finances to be a reason why we tell a child that we can't come do their hair. And so we need everybody out there. If you are able to support us, become a monthly donor. You can give a one-time gift. You can come out to the grand opening and participate. Just get involved. If you know a hairstylist or a barber who has a mission to help kids, please send them our way. We would love for them to partner with us. So we are excited. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share. And I just invite everybody out there, participate in our mission. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and get the word out. We want to take this thing national and help as many children and families as we can. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening and subscribing to Black Entrepreneur Experience. We would love for you to leave a review and rating on iTunes and share with your friends. For show notes and more episodes, go to www.beepodcast.com. Join us next Wednesday, and remember, green is the new black. So keep your bank accounts and your business in the black.